Alrighty, we're getting things set here. I think we got it. I think we're okay. I think you guys can hear me. I'm pretty sure once you pop in, hey Sonia, I'm pretty sure once you pop in, you'll let me know if I can be heard or not. So. Okay, let's do that again. Not happening. All right. We can solve that real quick. Hey, Bill. Good to see you. I sound fine? Great. All right. Okay. I didn't really necessarily run a poll, but I did a painting yesterday. I didn't film it. I just did it. I was probably listening to somebody else on their stream. And I usually sit here and enjoy the stream, and then I used to put something on there. And as I was doing it, I'm like, well, maybe people might like to see how this is done. It's another lesson more about atmospheric perspective, making things appear further away, gradually bringing you a little closer to the subject as they get a little bit darker, approaching trees and stuff in a different manner, these groups of trees from a distance. All sorts of stuff is going to be into play doing this. Relatively simple painting to do. All right, you don't have to be an expert at doing jagged little lines and whatnot. Very simple. The only thing I've used a ruler for was the horizon line, basically, and that was it. Okay, I'm going to use white paint and glycerin mix for this. So if you were an oil painter, it would be like using liquid white, essentially. I just made a homemade version, that's all. All right. Okay. Well, the secret to it really is getting your subject in the back, the further subject in the back, getting the colors to look like the sky. All right, just a little darker. Okay, and it would give that impression of it being in the distance and fog rolling in, so you don't really see a horizon line per se, but it is, the fog is in there a little bit. I'm gonna show you how to do all of that. Hey Shane, that was a beautiful animal. Looked like a bear you did up there. That's very nice. Good to see you. It's good to see your work too, because I haven't seen it, any of your beautiful work. So it was good to see your stuff. Chrissy Canvas Art finally did something of a Suzuki breed of dog. It's like a very pretty hairy greyhound, essentially, and it's really nice. So okay, we're gonna get right on to it. Relatively simple painting. I'll slow it down and take my time. Now, this painting is a lot wider than this portrays. Okay, and the reason why it's scrunched in is because of the put my thumb right there. It's because of this guy and that guy, particularly that guy. When that screen is up, the camera there, it's an overlay like this fellow, but it's a true overlay. It's on top of the other videos. So to put them all in, this has to be compacted a bit, and my switcher does that. All right, and also if I put it in full size, this guy right here gets in the way. It'll cover up like all of this, and so that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. All right. I've darkened the mountain / hills for the simple purpose of seeing where they are once I put this stuff on here. And it's for you because the camera won't catch it if I put it in too light. All right. Okay, so we just put the glycerin and paint on. And I'm gonna do it on the top first. All right. I'm not really worried about putting them on top of the hills and stuff like that. It's all right. And then we'll continue it on the bottom as we move down to the bottom. All right. First off, we're going to, I won't even clean the brush. We're going to just add a little bit of, first off, we'll just add a little bit of white down there, because we need semblance of mist and whatnot, and down below just needs to be a little brighter in general, the clouds that will be coming in. All right, this time today I'll use a sky blue color. I'll use a sky blue color. I'll start right from up here. Now remember, this is being mixed with white paint, so it's going to be a different look. It's going to get lighter faster, and it's going to tack up quick. Okay, just because of the paint being mixed in there. All right, so have to work a little fast doing it, because once again, the paint is a drying catalyst on top of the glycerin mix. Okay, I'm going to get a little more white just to put down here, just to brighten all of that up a little. Okay, right now you're not going to really see much of a contrast because everything's bright, and then we got white down below, so you're not going to see much of a contrast of anything yet until we put some dark in there. All right. And this is a nice little project to do if you want to teach a group of people to do it. It's not too bad. Hey, Jessica. All right, we'll take a fan brush, and I think I'm going to get a little touch, just a little touch of the blue here, and I'm gonna put it. We'll put it here in the corner. We'll just kind of let it move around and kind of just play, have a little fun, just like that. Okay, no more than that. I usually try to do this in the corner. Come down below, sneak a little out here like that, and leave it be. All right. These are my favorite ways to do clouds, because one, they're very dramatic, and two, easy to do. They're quick, you know, but very, very dramatic. I'm taking a essentially it's a makeup brush you get at the local Walmart. That's all it is, and you can control how much of this you want faded in. You can control what direction you want this to go. You can do, you know, all that fun stuff. Okay, I don't want to fade it in too much. I still want a lot of that activity going on with it. Okay, and you see it comes to a little peak there, and that's what's actually touching the canvas. Okay, now once again, I have to remind you, this is paint mixed in with glycerin, so it's going to get tacky. Okay, it's going to get tacky really fast, and I'm just fading out what I want faded out. And it's just hand pressure, really. You don't have to go in circles. I go in circles just force a habit. I'm just used to doing it in circles. You can go the X stroke way if you want to do it that way. That's truly up to you, how you want to do it. This is your cloud, your world. You do what you feel you need to do. Okay, all right. Let's get a little more white. We're gonna mix some white in there. So pull out the fan brush a little. Put on each side. Got a little blue on the side. I don't want no blue. All right, and we're gonna come. Well, we'll strengthen some of that out, but we'll come up in here. We'll dance some of this around, and just like that. Get a little more titanium white. It's gonna mix with the blue anyway. Worry not. Kind of pop some of that in here, like that. Yeah, we'll keep it around there this time. Today we'll do it this way. All right, you can do the formations, cloud formations, however you choose. It's really up to you. Once again, it's your world. You do what you feel. Okay. Once again, I like the activity that it does. Okay. Same brush. I didn't clean the brush. I didn't wash it or anything. Now what I do here on top of this blue, I don't really want to lose all the intensity of the white color, so I'll just kind of wisp it around a little bit just to get it in there. And I want it kind of bright here in the center, so it gives us a little high point. All right. Once again, you're not going to really see the effect because there's nothing there to contrast it by. Remember, contrast is light against dark. All right. That's basically what it is. I could take the same Mr. Softy brush and just go X strokes and just kind of blend it. You can control the amount of blend, amount of fade just by hand pressure. Okay. And it gets a lot of the stroke lines out and smooths it out. Now glycerin, by its nature, will expand the paint as it dries. So when you put the paint on there, as it dries, it just kind of spreads out. So you barely will see the stroke marks anyway. So, you know, as you do it, as you play around with vegetable glycerin, you'll know what it can and can't do, and you'll adjust accordingly to it. You just got to keep playing with it. Now the first painting that I did, it was a turquoise. This is just sky blue, so it is a different color. All right. I did not run out of turquoise. I just chose it. It's a lighter color. So, okay, now this is where things get a little interesting, a little fun. Doing the mountain that's further away, it has to be the color of what you see back here. All right, let's take we're going to still do the step method. You block in the color. After you block in the color, you start adding details and details. All right, I'll show you after coffee break. All right, let's add, we'll add a little bit of this sky blue. Obviously, we'll put it right here. A slight, and I mean a very slight touch of brown, because you want it just a little darker. I might slap in a little bit of white. It grays it out a little bit. All right. Okay, I don't know if I have enough, so let's get a little bit more than that. You'd be surprised how much more you actually would need there. You'd be surprised. I'm going to do this without glycerin or anything in the paint because I want it to dry. Okay, I don't want it to be tacky or anything. I just want it to dry. I'm pulling the brush toward me. Okay, all right, we'll start fleshing out the mountain here, right in here. The mountain will be a grassy mountain. Okay, and you can kind of see it's a little darker than the sky, but it's still pretty much the same color as the sky, just mixed in a few mixing a little bit brown into it. The horizon line, do it as level as you can, as you possibly can. Okay, and you're just really filling all of this in. This is a very simple painting. It looks a lot more involved than it truly is, simply because of how you use your paints, how you manipulate your color, okay, how you apply these techniques. Okay, and you'll see as we go along. Once again, I'm just blocking this stuff in, just like so. And we'll let it tack up and dry, because you got to add the trees and whatnot to this. Okay. All right, just like so. Now when it dries darker. Okay, so if you made it even lighter than that, that would be fine, because there's going to be trees on this. All right. Wait till you see what I'm going to do next. It'll be the water. Okay. All right, we'll get a slightly larger brush. We'll just do it with the 1.5 inch brush. Hey, Rosemary, how are you? It's good to see you. Very simple painting. This is 12 by 20. Or is it 12 by 16? I think it's 12 by 16. That doesn't look like it's 20. Let me make sure. I think it's 12 by 20 though. Yeah, no, it isn't. What are you? You're 12 by 18. Excuse me. Yeah, it's 12 by 18. It's just a giant piece of watercolor paper that I put some glue adhesive in the back, folded it over, and that was that. So that's how big the watercolor sheets are. It's 140 pound watercolor paper that I use. All right, let's go to the bottom of the painting. And once again, we'll just add the glycerin in white. Okay, just slap it down there. Really, really, really simple painting to do. Once again, it's just a technique of how you manipulate your colors. And we're doing a lot of what's called aerial perspective. All right, it's a little bit of linear, but mainly aerial perspective, because usually things that get closer to you are larger. Okay. All right, like that. For the horizon line, you really don't have to be as exact because it's going to be covered by fog. All right. Okay. Let's get to getting here. Let's go into our little sky blue here. I'll put it right here in the midst of this other stuff. Doesn't matter. Okay. And we're going to come out here with the same little color. Go as close as you can to the horizon line, as close as you possibly can. Keep it straight as possibly, as close as you can to. I'll go right up against the edge, as straight as possible. All right, and you just kind of come on down with it here. Drag it down. Remember, the paint is still wet on the surface, so you can kind of slide it down. All right, and I'll just take my brush and yep, briskly paint this stuff. Let's put it right in there. That white is what's helping to keep that color nice and light. Okay, the glycerin helps it to move around and slide around. All right, so you can actually blend this stuff. I'm going back into my blue. I'm going to strengthen that blue a little bit up here. A lot of back and forth. Now, for those of you who might be a little worried that the pencil lines are disappearing on the paint, don't worry about that. Trust me, don't worry at all. It'll show through once it dries. I'm bringing it right down here. Now, this is where your aerial perspective kind of comes into play here. Okay. It's going to get darker down on the bottom. Let's show you how right now. With this ultramarine blue, I'm going to bring the ultramarine blue right here, right on the bottom, right here. Okay. Just like that. Guess what? I'm going to add a little brown to that. Just a little bit of brown in there. Now remember, this paint will dry quickly on you. Okay. I'm adding the brown just to get it deeper. That's all. Straight back and forth. Just keep going back and forth. Now, as I go up above, I'll just lighten the pressure a little bit. it will naturally just get lighter by itself. Okay. Keep working at it. Keep working at it. Just lighten your hand pressure a little bit. I'll crisscross, join some of that together. And you'll start to feel the tackiness of this guy. I'm doing large crisscross strokes to get that line out of there a little bit. And then I'll just lightly, just kind of, you see the gradual, it just disappears, that line just goes away. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go back into this, clean this up. There's a light spot that I want, but I don't want it there. Do a lot of little manipulation things with this painting at this stage too, because one is like I say, it's basically pretty wet, and you can kind of move stuff around as you can see what I'm doing. All right, we're good, we're all right. Get a little bit of white, and we'll kind of, well, that really wouldn't make any sense to do it there. It wouldn't make any sense to do that because the mountain's in the way there. So I won't do that. We'll let this tack up and dry. I want this a little deeper still. It's not deep enough for me. So we're gonna go into our blue. We'll put it right here. Go into a little bit of blue, go into a little bit of brown, and we're gonna mix that brown in there. I still want it deeper there. Go down below the tape, right here. Give it a good press. Okay. I want it deeper right there. Okay. And I will lighten it up as I go across. I'll take a smaller brush, or a larger brush, and I'll kind of get rid of that edge a little bit. And basically I'm just fading away that edge there, still maintaining that strong left and right flow there. There, just like that. I just need it deeper here. Remember, you're thinking contrast now. Okay, since there's no landmass here, you're gonna work with just a strong color there. Okay. Here in the corner, we can add a little more love there. If you get it a little strong, don't worry about it. It goes away. Don't think about it. And plus, there's a rock there. So once again, hashtag don't panic. Panic not. Just fade it through. Okay. We'll get rid of some of this too. Okay. Now, this large brush, you think that all this brush is covering a lot of area. It's not. Believe it or not, it isn't. Okay, we're good. I don't have to keep messing with it. All right, we're gonna go up top to that mountain. We're gonna start adding some green, some trees to that up here. This part becomes it can be a little monotonous if you're not really patient. All right, once you get a flow to it, it goes by quicker than you think. It all depends on how much time you want to put in to making them look like trees. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can easily make that mountain in the back appear even larger, even though it's in the back. Okay, very simple. So this will look a little differently than the original painting that I did. All right. Hey, Rob on the road. Is that you? Hey, good afternoon. Well, for you, it would be good afternoon, wouldn't it? About dinner time for you out there, right? It's good to see you. Okay, let's zoom this in a little bit. I'll fill it in. Let's move it right here. Let's move it down a little bit there. Right about there is good. Pop the focus on real quick so you guys can actually see what the heck I'm doing. All right. Okay. Let us make some of this disappear. We don't need this around. I'm just scraping this off and put it. I got a large beach towel on my lap here. I'm just getting rid of the stuff I really don't need. Okay. I usually use a bigger palette knife than this. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get a lot of that off. Okay, we're going to use some of this blue. I think we'll probably just start off with this, really. Yeah, we'll probably start off with a lot of this. We'll just put it right here. And we're going to get our faraway trees happening there. Okay. To kind of get this looking pretty decent, get yourself a brush that's easy, kind of beat up, kind of full. I'll show it down here. It might be a better focus. All right, see the top of that brush. All right, it's all splayed out looking and crazy like this. Just splay it out. Okay. And we get interesting little tree patterns happening here. All right, I'll go down here to see what it looks like. Yeah, that'll work. And we'll just kind of tap in little bits of trees, very light. I'm going up above the. Now I know it looks kind of weird because it's so light, but that's what we want. We want it to be light. You want it to be barely seen. Okay. It's enough of it there to know that there is something going on back there, but it's not overpowering. I'm going above the line because it has to look like little trees and stuff going on up there. It's a really heavily treed background back there. All those little, you don't want to block and fill everything in either. Okay. So you keep some of that natural color in there. Once this all comes together, it will make sense to you. All right, not much, but just little textures you want in there. And you'll see why. You're gonna see why in a few. Okay, we'll let it tack up and dry. I don't need much stuff working back there like that. All right, but I am gonna show you something. I'll make that mountain appear a little larger. And it's very simple, very, very simple technique. Watch what I'm gonna do here. Let's take a script liner. Now this is, I can't, well, you know what? That's cool. I need that anyway. We'll put it right here. Get a little bit of white. We'll just kind of brighten it up a little bit. Okay. All right. All right. My little water dish is over there. Watch what I'm going to do. Very simple. Very simple. This should be bright enough. I don't need it to be too stand-outish, but watch this, guys. We're going to add like a. Now this will make the mountain a little larger. just kind of put like some little pools of water going down there, like a little, see this? A little bit, so we pretend it's water happening there. Little rivers and stuff going on. Now, it's going to look much, much, much larger, you see. Okay. Yeah, have it kind of trail and whatever. Okay. So it's got little rivers, stuff happening, going through there. Pop a little something down here, maybe. Something like that. You gotta let this dry now for the next stage. This is why I don't add the glycerin or anything, because you want your paint. This is acrylic paint, heavy body acrylic paint. You need it to dry rather quickly. Now, while that's drying, we're gonna move on to mountain number 2. Let's take a 3/4 inch. All right. Now the pencil lines are still in there for the other mountain. All right. We'll go slightly above. We'll just put it right here. That's where it is. Bring it down. We'll move it over here. All right. There's the end. Obviously, there's the tape. The top of yonder mountain should be somewhere around in here. All right. Okay. This mountain is gradually darker. Okay. I gotta wait a few more seconds for this. So let's go into a little bit of blue, the darker blue. We'll put it right in here, lighten it up a little bit, little touch of brown in there. Okay. Let's get enough of that color. I got a bad habit of not using enough of that color. So we're gonna kind of beef that color up a little bit there, make a lot more of it. This should work. This should be fine. I'm not going to put any glycerin or anything on it because even yet I want this to dry also. Okay, a little darker up to the front here, and you're just kind of sketching pretty much. Now remember, your paint here in the water is still a little wet, so it's going to kind of blend in a little bit with that paint. Now you get your surface here pretty even, pretty straight, as best as you can anyway. As best as you can, you just put it in there, and you block all this in. Don't worry, block it in. Block it up. Very simple technique. Block it in. And we're talking about atmospheric perspective. Now obviously it looks more or less flat, but you got to see through what you're applying right now. Usually it looks a little crazy when you start doing certain scenes or whatever, because it doesn't look like what you wanted to look like immediately. Of course, it's like what Chrissy Campus would say, the ugly duckling stage. Okay. All right. Something like that. That's fine. All right. That's it. All right. Everything gets a little darker and a little darker and a little darker. Okay. All right. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about as far as atmospheric perspective. Let's get into it. Now I'm taking another brush. Put it down here. All right. And once again, it's a makeup brush, little tiny thing. Now, obviously, the hairs on this are very short, very soft, but they're short. Not much give to this. Okay. I don't necessarily have to pan back. I'm just going to move it over because we're going to talk about this subject right in there. Let's pop the sharpen that image up. All right. Watch what I do and how simple it is. That's why this is not really necessarily perfect. Doesn't need to be, because it's going to be shrouded in mist. Okay. We're going to mist all, well, in between here, you're going to mist it. All right. And we're going to come up a little bit up in here. And now that's going to push this further back. It's going to cover that. it's going to bring that one up toward the front. All right, just a little barrier that kind of helps you with your aerial perspective. This is aerial perspective we're talking about. All right, just a little bit of white here. We'll put it right here. I'm going to tint that white just a little bit with that background color, or you use a little bit of the light blue color. Either way, you're gonna tint it up a little bit. All right, and what I'm going to do first off is just just tap it in there. Now the paint is still fairly tacky. I'm going in between the line and the water. All right, just put it in there. Don't be shy about it. Don't be bashful using the color. Okay, and I'm gonna press, because most of this is dry. So this is pretty much my tester here as I'm doing it. We're gonna go a little bit brighter. What is this? Titanium white, very powerful color. Be careful. Titanium white, very strong color that covers death. This stuff. And we're very light, very light, very light, very light, very light. Don't force it. Very light. Bring some up here. Don't make it even. Come down below. Shroud some of that. Get some more. Don't be bashful adding this stuff. Put it right in there. Left and right, left and right. Just like that. You do it in layers. Don't try to do it all in one shot. It never comes out right. Don't do that. We're going to obscure that line in there. I don't have to obscure the total line, but we're just gonna, and then I'll go on my little circle motions there. Especially down here, do the same thing. Come on up here a little bit. Fade it. Once it dries, you'll still see little bits of the background and all of that stuff. So it'll still happen for you. Don't worry. Hashtag don't panic. Just keep on going with it. Obscure that line. Soften that line up there. Okay. You're starting to see, what's going on now. Get a little bit of white, a little more pure white, and we're going to come out here. And I'm just tapping. Just like that. It's all right. Pop it in there. Take your time. It'll happen for you. Okay. You still see little shadows in there. You still see stuff working in there. All right. Now, as we get a little bit closer, because remember this is just the foundation color for this, we'll slide it back over. Okay. We'll start adding trees and whatnot to this. Okay, I can even use this if I really wanted to. You just need a brush. It gives you appearance of tiny little, little trees, and you put them in a way to where they look like large groups of trees. All right. I may use that, or I might use my other one. I kind of like the flat brush myself personally, or I can use a fan brush. Either, any one of these brushes will do. I'll use this guy today. All right, we're gonna go with a little bit of. I knew I forgot a color. I forgot my sap green. That I did use. I did use sap green for the last painting, so we use some of that here. Okay, we're gonna go into a little sap green. We'll just put it right here. All right, we're gonna use a little touch of brown in that sap green just to deepen it a little bit. Once again, I'm doing this because it's not not an overly complex painting at all. It isn't. A little more detail in these trees. I'm going to use the corner of the brush. All right, we'll put it out here, and you can do little baby taps in there like this. I'm gonna do it up above here. Now, as you can see how dark it is, and you see the weird kind of texture that's happening with it. And believe it or not, I'm going to highlight these. So, but up here on its top, I'm going to bring some down here. Spread it out a little bit. Come on down in here. Okay. We're going to up top, you kind of want to make it look like there's a little forest, little trees going up there. So you're not going to see really too much raw rock. All right, this is just my representation of it. I just want it really covered with foliage. So you go slightly above the line that you've made for yourself. I don't necessarily have to get rid of all of the gray, and you won't. Come up around in here, and I'm just making really interesting textured patterns. A lot of this is just texture. You see me leaning, you might not see all of, yeah, you see me. I'm just leaning because where my light is, I got two lights on this. I don't have the ceiling light on. It's daytime, and even though we got an incredibly wretched, horrible day outside, it's caked with a lot of ice. A lot of stuff is closed, not much traffic going on because everything's coated with, like, I don't know, almost a ½ inch of ice over vehicles and stuff. So the reason why I'm even on this early on Sunday, because I should be at church service now, but it was canceled. Church very rarely canceled, so you know it's very treacherous outside. It's not good. It's ice all over the place. Down below here, it's going to get even darker, but I'll show you that. But as you can see, and you see what I'm doing here, okay, little interesting pockets and groups of trees. All right, once again, we'll let you know, I'll show you about size, even though in distance also, okay. So still a little ways away. There will be no fog, no mist on this guy. We already got that taken care of with the fellow in the back. But now that we got something gradually darker in the mid-ground, which is the important part, just like that. We're gonna come on down here. Now down here, it's gonna get gradually darker because of shadow, the size of the hill here, a little jetty coming out. Okay, it's gonna get a little darker here, and we can have obviously reflections here. Okay, all right, let's get a little bit of go right into the green here. We'll get a little bit of brown. We're gonna get a little bit of this deep blue. All right, and we're gonna mix that in there. Really nice, like. Get that blue. Don't be shy. Put that blue in there. You need something a little dark. It's actually turning into a deep green, really. Just get some more brown. Add more brown in there. Okay. Now, this is umber. Umber is a brown with green in it. You follow me? I don't really want it a deep green. Not really. So we're gonna use its color opposite, and I'm gonna use alizarin crimson. We're gonna use this color opposite. I'll put it right next to its opposite. All right, red and green are opposites. Yellow and purple are opposites. Blue and orange are opposites. All right, one's a primary color, one's a secondary color, meaning a mix of the two primary colors makes your secondary color. All right, you guys follow me? I'll say that again. yellow, blue, and what other color? Yellow, blue, and red. Those are our primary colors. You can't really mix any color to get those. All right, orange, purple, and orange, purple, and I just said the other one. I think it's green. Orange, purple, and green. You know, you can mix to get those. Those are the secondary colors. All right. Okay, that's what I was talking about. All right, red and yellow make orange. Blue and red is purple, and blue and yellow makes green. All right, so we'll take a little bit of its secondary color, boom, pop it in there. Especially this deep red, and get a little bit more, pop it in there. Now you be careful, because you keep mixing this deep red in with these colors, you'll end up getting a soft black. Okay. Now if I add blue to this, all right, it will get even deeper and deeper. Because now the blue is going to interact with that red in there, and see how dark it's gotten. Look at this. Now I'm doing this on purpose in this little spot to show you. Look at the color it used to be. Okay. And look at the color now. This is what I'm talking about. Almost a soft black now. Okay. All right. Just come down here. We're going to add some of that darkness. Definitely on the bottom, but it's going to sneak up in here a little bit. Get some shadows going there. See? Definitely stronger here, because once again, your reflections and things are going to happen here. But we're going to kind of eke some of that stuff out up above a little bit. Come in here, come pop some in there like this. Just little bits of dark in there. And I'm just really blocking in all that depth in this. Inch some of that up there. You don't have to go all the way. Once again, this is your judgment, your eye. To see how far you want to bring this stuff. Okay. Don't worry about the line now, because once again, you're going to have reflections coming down here. You follow me? I'll play with it here and show you. Then this is just a reflection of what you see directly. It gets a little larger here. All right, this is not even hard. You're just pulling paint down right now. Okay, like that. All right, looks crazy right now, but wait, give a brother a chance. Hold on. All right, okay. We'll lighten that up a little bit. We'll add some bright things. Now, obviously, I've done this with the fan brush. You don't necessarily have to end with the fan brush. No. I'll show you this, because you can start off with one brush, but you can end with another. Let's take a little bit of I was going to use white, but let's just use some more of the sky blue color. We'll just keep it kind of in the family today. Same concept. I'm just using even just about the same similar colors. I'm using but just keep it in the scheme of color, same color. Just use a little bit of this green and put it in with that light blue like that. Need more light blue in that green. Now we established that green, we're just going to get it lighter and lighter and lighter. I'm using a eyebrow brush, makeup brush, whatever you ladies call this thing. Okay. The reason why I use this is put it in. You guys can't see it unless I go back. Okay. You see all that activity going on there with this brush? It's the short bristles, and now that it's packed with paint, it gives you all different. Now we're talking about texture. All right. Texture is all about texture here. All right. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a few bits of shine on the trees. Just a few bits. I'm going to get a little touch of water. Why am I using water? A thin paint will stick to the sticky, tacky stuff. And also, when you do this, a light touch, a very, very light touch, just a little small tap, and you'll see as I start to do this, it needs to be a little bit brighter. A little brighter, so we'll use just a small bit of white just to brighten it up a little bit. All right, that'll work. Just need a little brighter. Once again, okay, let me get a lot of this crap off the brush. There. I just need the top bristles to be doing all the work here. Okay, and once again, we'll get it. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna get interesting little taps, rounded little taps of color in there. You do interesting little groupings. Okay, interesting little groupings of color in there. And you just move on. I don't want to necessarily put it on the tip top because of the contrast of the clouds over there. So I don't want them to compete. So I won't add it directly on the top. Okay, into the blue. Once you're in the blue, you can play around a little bit, just a little bit. Come out here. See, when you're in the blue, you can kind of play around with it a little, like that. I'm putting these clumps really close together so it doesn't look like a pattern of that. You don't want a visible pattern of that, so you keep them pretty close. All right, so you don't get that recognizable type of pattern going on. All right, I don't need to add a whole lot. All right, what you see here is pretty cool. All right, okay, now because I did a painting so close to this, I'm going to add a few differences in there. I did change the color, but that's not really going to matter because people are going to still see it as pretty much the same painting. All right, let's take I'll take one of these. If the painting's still somewhat tacky and wet, I'll add some, yeah, we can do that. We add a little bits of tree line down here, just like that. Different. It's just something different from the other one. Some going closer. Some are long and high. Some don't necessarily reach the bottom. Come on in there like that. Some of them are up there a little bit. Put a few there. Maybe some of them are up here somewhere, if you can do it. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Something a little different. A little reflection. If you can get them in there, cool. If you can't get them in there, that's fine also. You may have to press a little harder to really pop them in there. So just a representation of a few of these guys. I'm really pressing to get those marks in there. All right, but now you're not even really trying hard, but now you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, and that's just the beginning of reflection. We didn't even do the green or anything yet. All right. Okay, once again, not a very difficult painting. All right. Anybody got any questions, any statements, comments, anything? Well, I'm looking at the chat because I see nobody is saying anything. Nothing. We'll move right along. Y'all giving me a complex. Okay, let's go into a little bit of, we'll go back into our sap green. We'll put it right here. Slight touch of brown in the sap green. We'll kind of put it in there like that. And I'm just really working, maybe a slight hint of, if I can get it, like slight hint of blue. And we're just going to put, we'll just play with this color just to kind of put reflections in there. Actually, I could just go straight down. Well, I'm not gonna play with it. Just go straight down. Yeah, I'm just pressing and then releasing. And keep with the shape of what you see up top. You got me? Look what you got up top, and you just mimic that. Really simple to do this, guys. Just keep mimicking what you see down there. I'm going a little bit into that dark area and I'm just dragging it down. Obviously it goes way down here somewhere. Okay, and then it kind of makes its way back forward. As long as you keep its general shape there, you're good to go. Okay, you're not looking for a perfect mirror representation right now. All right, you kind of don't need that. All right, something like that. All right, and if you want to be cute, up to you. And I'm using some of the dark stuff. If you want to get little dark patterns in there, then you kind of put some of these little splotches in there. If you want to really, you know, get it in there. There's not really too much up there, so remove some of that. They're kind of in the back here though. All right, but you see where I'm coming from here? Well, you kid around with some of that here. Not really too much happening there, but that's good enough. All right. Once again, not necessarily identical to the other painting. I really didn't want it to be. Not really. It's still pretty tacky here. So I'll just take Mr. Big Dry Brush and I'll just kind of go downward. This is nothing but a dry brush. Just the old dry brush bringing that paint downward. Look at what's going on though. You see how, if you see the paint starting to travel downward, that kind of long look that's coming from that. Okay, and if you want to be cute, you can just take the side of the brush and start brushing sideways. It actually moves the paint. You can see it kind of slide in different directions there. It depends on how tacky the paint is, how wet the paint is, but you can get away with some of that, like that. Okay, where are you at? Okay, very, 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 very simple to do. Not the most difficult thing in the world to do. Okay, let's pull back a little bit and let me show you what we got going on here. All right, we'll do it somewhat like this. We'll pop the focus on here. All right, now you see what's happening here. Look what happened. Now this guy, one, it looks absolutely mammoth because of the rivers going through it, and because of the fog bank. All right, now it's even further back. You got me? Okay, it's even further back there. All right, then we have what's happening here. All right, okay, and we didn't even get to the water lines yet because we have one more object to put in there. Remember, we got a rock here. All right, now that rock, obviously that rock is much smaller than both of these two. Okay, you got a mammoth mountain here. You got, it's Wayward Sun over here. Then you got Baby Huey over here. Now, because this guy is essentially something you probably end up stepping on to take a picture of this, it's really tiny. But because of the relation of each jetty shooting out there from either side, and we're closer to this fella, even though it's small, it will appear to be much, much larger than it is just because of distance. You follow me? I'm hoping I'm explaining that all right. Okay. Because it's closer to us, I'll use a I would like to use a 3/4 inch. If I stop rolling my brushes into the paint. Maybe I ought to get a paint bucket, Jessica. What do you think? Okay, let's get a little bit of, we'll get a little bit of water. I'll mix this dark stuff right in here. See, the water just reactivates this. I don't want to use glycerin. Glycerin will reactivate paint also, but it will also leave this greasy, filmy stuff that I'm not looking for. I want this to dry so I can just move along here. All right. So we have the smaller rock, but it's going to be the size of a large minivan or something, because of distance, how close it is in relation to us. And what also helps us with that is the darkness of the water. So obviously with the water being this dark here, that also brings us closer and make those guys even further away. You got me? Okay. All right. Now, since I already see the pencil line of where it is, yeah, I might make it a little larger. We'll see. Anyway, it's like right around in here somewhere. Okay, it's somewhere out here. I'll make it a little bigger, right about here, and then I'll kind of stop it here. Well, block this in. It's got a little growth hanging from it, so I will make the growth right about there, and it will kind of stop it here, make it flat. We'll bring this out. Yeah, like something like that. It will make it flat. All right, just like that. I'm just blocking in the color. All right, that's about the size of it, really. Okay. I'm not really worried about texture, shading or anything, because I already got the shape of the rock. I made the rock much larger, even though it's a small guy. But now, because I put our little stepping stool rock here, it puts that backwards, that even further back. All right. Okay. So hopefully, this example I'm showing you shows you how, one, how easy it is to do this, and two, how you can use contrast to help you out in your art. I'll get command of the English language shortly. All right. Okay. I'll use the 1/2-inch brush. I'll use a little bit of water. We'll go into this blue. We'll wake up some of this really deep Prussian blue here. We'll wake the blue. We'll put it right here. We'll wake up some of this very deep red. We'll kind of stir it up with this brownish green mix. We got a whole bunch of contrast here. A whole bunch of complementary colors, opposites. Okay, that should be dark enough. Should be okay. And if it's not, I'll just add more blue. But it should be dark enough. All right. We'll get to the shape of the water here. Let's bring this up a little higher. All right. Okay, you see the shape of the rock here, right? I'm gonna approach this one a little differently. What we're gonna do, we'll make little wavy things here. This is just a reflection of the rock, right? And so I'll come here with my super dark color. And why am I using such a dark color? You know, the reflections are usually kind of dark compared to its little counterpart. All right. It gets a little solid out there, but okay. And then we'll start adding little wave lines to represent the shape of this fella. So even though you see me doing these wave lines, I'm actually patterning those wave lines to the shape of the rock up above. All here you can, you wave it around and do what you want. It's really the outside, those little pointed little edges in there. It's what I'm really getting at. And it also gives you motion, water motion there. Okay. That's the reason why I did what I did here. All right. Okay. Once again, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to do. Let's take that same color that I have and we'll add white to it. Watch what happens when I add white to this stuff. All right, it turns gray. It turns nice and neutral for you. It's a nice color. That would make a nice color for what? A rock. Okay, so we'll start to shade this guy, or kind of highlight this guy a little bit. I'm just using the side of the brush. That's all I'm doing. All right, using the side of the brush, making my own little contours in it. Don't block and cover everything. Okay, getting some more. Just using the side of the brush. Go over here up top. Vary your hand pressure here and there. I'll flip the brush around because there's a little bit more on the other side. Okay. Let's get a little more white. We'll put it right here on it because we got a rock that's kind of jutting out right about in here somewhere. And what I'm doing is really brighten the top a little bit. Okay. Get rid of some of that there. We'll put a little bit of that up in here somewhere. Yes, I will use my finger in a hot minute. I have no shame. Don't judge me. We'll smooth that out a little bit. Okay. We'll take some of this same bright stuff and we'll kind of highlight. We'll highlight from back here a little bit. Needs to be a little brighter. Get a little touch of white. We'll brighten it up a little bit more. The contrast and the highlights and the shades help you out too. Let's get some more of that bright color. And we'll add another one right here. Okay. We'll add another one, small one right there. We give him a whole bunch of lumps right in here. All right. And I'll just lightly kind of blend that, softly just blend it away. Blend it away. Blend it away. We still got some bright stuff. I'll turn my brush around. It's right up here. Kind of add a little bit of that up in here somewhere. You're not necessarily getting rid of everything. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's take some of that just because, and we add some of that in here. Some of that color, just a little bit. See, just a little. All right, I'll just kind of rub that in there. All right, okay. If you want, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want, you can have like the brightest part. The brighter you use, the brighter color, the less of it you need. I'm just adding little bits of titanium white, just a little, just to guide your eye, that you definitely know where the direct shine is coming from. So you put a little a strong edge on it, you fade it out. Strong edge, fade it out. You follow me? All right, strong edge, and you fade the other stuff out. Just kind of make it go away. But you see what's going on here. You see where the color is being on the back side of the rock. There, I'm just playing around, but I'm really showing you how to do it there. All right, let's go back into this deep color here, and we're just adding more contrast to this rock. You got some deep color, shady shadow stuff happening down below in there. Okay, because obviously it's underneath, touching the water here. All right, I'm hoping you guys are kind of soaking up this info here. Now, this is just a technique. What I'm showing you can apply. I mean, if you were painting, I don't know, the Mandalorian, Jabba the Hutt, King Kong, it don't matter. Your grandma, it doesn't matter. All this technique stuff applies. All right. I want to kind of shadow this outcrop here. Make it a little darker up in there and drag some of that. The reason why I'm doing this is just to really, when you put the dark there, remember about contrast. Now this comes out even more, even though it's not as bright as these highlights. It doesn't need to be. It needs to be darker behind that rock than the color that I used here. Okay, and which, once again, you need dark to emphasize the light. You need a light to emphasize the depth of the dark. So it's like a little yin and yang, and that's basically what we're doing here. It's just a little yin and yang all over this painting. Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Shane. Y'all want your paint? Looks like I'm, well, yeah, it looks like I would need, I would need a bigger table. Okay, we're getting almost to the last part of this painting, believe it or not. Okay, which is adding water lines to this. Obviously, you don't need to add water lines here. That's not necessary. It's all fogged up back there, so you don't need water lines. Okay, all right. Water lines can be a little on the tricky side. Let me seal up this glycerin and paint mix here. It does leave a mess no matter how you try to be careful. It's just messy stuff. Let's get my large palette knife. Something dripped. It's not from up above. I know I've seen something drip. Let's get my large palette knife. Let's clean this stuff up. Really, I'm just cleaning up a spot where I can use the white paint. You're not going to get everything up because it's dried, but I'm going to show you how to do that. We don't really need the rest of that color because all we need really is white. So I will just take the rest of this color, what I can get of it anyway, and just get rid of it. I don't need the rest. All right, put it down there. Get it off of my palette knife real quick here. All right, I don't need none of that. I just need what's left here. Whatever's here, I'll just use this. All right. Now, water lines can be a blessing and a curse. Okay, they can definitely. I can white lines can make or break it painting. Okay, now this is essentially a medium shot. Okay, yeah, it's pretty much a medium shot. All right, as far as the total composition goes, so you can put your water lines in there, but just be careful in doing it. Okay. A very thin line of white paint, very thin. And how you get away with doing this is that the paint is below you. All right, you put it down below. You have to press a little bit. Try to keep your knife level at first, because you need to see exactly where your line is going to be with this. All right, I can see right now it's pretty much over here. All right, I'm pressing and I'm just gonna go traveling. Let it break up, and I'm bringing the knife a little bit downward because it's gonna slide. It's gonna slide away essentially. I'm coming back. Lean it. There we are. I lost my place there. Lean it, right about there somewhere. And you see those little chop things there that's going on? That's fine, leave it be. you don't want to overly make it one straight line going across, because it looks like little breakers and waves hitting stuff over there. So that actually works for you, not against you. Anything that's close to that shoreline, you know, just add, I'll lean the light down a little bit, and just add little, see these? They're a little close. They're uneven. They're little touches. Don't, you know, sometimes you're gonna have to press a little harder, but it's all right. But as you get further away though, or as it gets closer to you, depending on your adjustment and how you see things, they get a little bit longer. Okay. And so I'll start adding a little trail. Just a little bit here. Skip across, go a little bit out there. All right. Your choice of how much of this you want. All right. Really up to you. The important thing is keep this here. Let's go towards this rock. I better do that first. There we go. We got some here. Just like so. Don't need really too much of it. They're bigger as obviously they get closer to us. All right. They get a little tighter, a little more straight. Let's add one here. As you put one in there, pop some little something in there. You see where I'm putting it? I'm not really putting it out here. All your action's kind of over in here, in this area. Okay. I'll put a little something there. A little something going on back there a little bit. And basically that's it. We're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna get rid of this. Let's switch over again, because I gotta show a certain somebody something. I'm gonna keep. This probably be the last time, because I think I did a few of these. All right. Let's change the camera angle. Let's get rid of my face. We don't. Oh no, that's not. Yeah, I don't need it to. We can get rid of my face. So let's switch camera. Like that. All right. And since I got it like that, yeah, it's almost a perfect size. Let me straighten this up first, because I want to. Once I pop this back, I want you guys to look at the whole thing in its true size. So let's pop it back a little bit. Are we good here? Let's see. I think we're good right there. I might have to pop it back a little bit more, but we'll see. Once the camera blows back up to the other true size, you'll definitely see everything. I think that will be perfect right there. Let me hit the focus so I don't have to work with it when I come back. All right, Jessica. Once again, I use, let's get my cold coffee out of the way. I use this is sad. I do firmly believe I have no more white. I'm just gonna have to mess with this. The lightest color I can get, so I can put my name on this. I'll put my name back here. So hold on one second. Let me throw my initials on here. Thank you guys for watching me do this today. I appreciate it. Let's put it right here. I have to kind of change how I put the date. 1/22. Just like so. I'll put it in there like that. All right. Okay. Let me show you something here. Once again, this doesn't have to be torturous. I like to use rubbing alcohol to do this. All right. It doesn't take very long. It eats right through this paint like nothing. I don't have to really soak it too much. Go for what you know, Bruce. It is a tutorial. All are welcome to do it. It's good to see you. And so what I'm doing here is just wiping off the paint. Now I'm a lefty, so I tend to push. I don't necessarily have to push, I can pull it towards me also. All right, this titanium white is tough, but it does come out. Okay, see? It pushes away, as you can see. Get rid of it. Okay. It does, it wipes away like that. And once I get it all loosened up and whatnot, then I just get a paper towel and just wipe it up. Now I am in a habit of getting rid of this stuff after I'm done. I've never really got rid of all of this immediately when I finish painting. That's not a good idea. Unless you plan to come back to it or you got enough paint to do something else. I try to just get rid of this stuff. Have a fresh, clean palette and you know, and just move on from there. As you can hear by the little squeaks, all right, this, you know, stuff comes right off. It dries rather quickly. Now this palette has there's something that the people sprayed on here, that you get this little almost film like thing going on with it, but that's okay. It's supposed to be on there. The paint comes right off, either oil paint, gouache, acrylic, watercolor, whatever you use on this, whatever they sprayed on here. Once you put your little cleaning stuff on there, it, you know, it helps get this stuff lifted right off. Let's change the tab here, and there you guys go. We can get rid of this. Let's make that disappear. All right. Okay, well, let's remove the tape here, as we normally do. I think we're here. Yeah. Okay, it's gonna fall. The tape is not gonna stick down below. That I know immediately. It's gonna fall on us here. I just don't want it to fall, well, like that. I think what I do too is when I use I think it's Windex. I hate it when that happens. One of these solvents eats away at the varnish, and then it takes the stickiness right off the tape and it just falls. I gotta experiment and see which one does that. But for me to get the stickiness back, all I have to do is revarnish this board, and I really don't feel like taking this board apart and going in the hallway and revarnishing this thing. So I'll just deal with what you see me deal with here. But it's no big deal. I'll just aim it downward. And we press the focus again, and well, there you go. All right. Once again, essentially the same painting. The color is the color that's a little different. The lighter color I didn't use ultramarine. I just used a light sky blue. All right. There's a few adjustments obviously to this painting that I did from the other one, which is the rivers, which once again makes this mountain look absolutely massive back there. I've added little tree tree trunks in this one with the reflections down there. I handled the reflections a little different, a little more detail in the reflections. It just represented like that. Okay. And that's basically all I've did. I kept the shine more or less, the sparkles more or less towards the subjects that are in shadow down below in the reflections. So I just pretty much kept them there. They're not all across in here. Doesn't necessarily need to be, because once again, it just sells the point that all of that is way back there. Okay. I will only probably post this on my page. Well, no, I shouldn't, because I'll just let them know that this is a tutorial, but it's essentially the same painting. I just added a few more things to it just for differences sake, but still essentially an extremely simple painting. As long as you can match the color of your furthest away object to your sky, even though this is a little bit more on the green side, but it doesn't really matter. It's still related to the blue. Okay. I added actually more dark blue to this one than I did with the other one. The other one was more of this color. Okay. Really doesn't matter. It's more white here. Doesn't matter. Really, because we still got bits of that color in here. We've got bits of this color in the water. Everything still matches. Now, with all that white, with this light color that's kind of bleached out, and with the fog, it still puts everything way back there. So your focus is really in this corner, not necessarily in the center. All your activity is going on over here. All right, but everything's still, if you look at it this way, everything's still even. Your light colors, your darker color, everything's still that yin and yang. Okay, so if you took this perpendicular and cut it in half, you got a light half, you got a darker half. Okay, so everything still balances and evens out regardless. We still got our aerial perspective. Stuff further back is lighter, washed out. Things that are a little bit closer, a little more detailed. Okay, and smaller objects appear larger. Okay, you follow me? Okay, we all know that this is much smaller than that, but because it's so much closer to us, all right, it will appear to be much larger. So you've got, once again, linear perspective. Okay, your larger objects will appear to be smaller, and they're lighter, they're further out. And then you got aerial perspective. Further away is lighter. Okay, as it gets closer, it's darker. You feel me? Okay, and that's basically all that going into play. Then there's that thing of composition. Okay, of working in thirds. All right, so all right, a whole lot of that into a very simple painting. All right, it took longer for me talking and explaining than I actually did with the first painting, really. All right. Oh, you planning on going live today? That's good, Jessica. That's good. Most likely, I think Bruce is going to probably come on a little bit after me. All right. It's only a little bit after 1. It's like perfect time. Okay. And so I'll pop Bruce on the big screen here and check him out whenever he chooses to come on. I don't know if he's here now. At least if he can give us a time frame of when he's going to come on. Like I say, it's a little bit after 1 o'clock. You're not going to mess it up. Nope. Nope. Simple technique and concept. Get your furthest object away to look like the color of the sky. And then you just get, as you come forward, you get a little bit darker. That's all. The closer you get, the more detailed it gets. That's all. I could have added a whole lot more detail to Mr. Rock here, but it's not needed. And it was pretty much a lesson how to do really detailed trees using those simple rounded brush strokes. So I did show everybody pretty much how to make, it's all texture. All right, that's all it is. It's just all texture, getting that texture, that appearance of thousands and thousands and thousands of leaves and trees. All right, even back here where you can barely see it, which is supposed to happen. You can see it, but you kind of don't. That's supposed to happen. That's how you sell the image of it being so far away. Around 2 o'clock, great. We got an hour or 55. We got 50 minutes, guys. Sweet. All right. That means I got more than enough time to make me a nice warm cup of coffee and harass some folk. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. I shall see you when I see you. Still my whole day is messed up because usually I would be coming out of church about this time. So no services today. It's very dangerous outside. Even I agree it's dangerous, and I've driven in all sorts of weather, but this weather out here right now is crazy. We got everything coated in ice. And then the temperature's supposed to drop, and then we're supposed to get a snowstorm on top of that. It's going to be a mess. So why not stay inside, be warm, and paint? Okay, guys, let me take out my monstrosity of a dog. He doesn't do rain very well, so if it's still raining out there, this is going to be a very short walk indeed. But I shall see you guys in about truly 50 minutes, and we'll all head on over to Vermont Painting Photo and watch him do similar painting to this one. All right, guys, have a safe Sunday. I shall see you when I see you. Peace. Good night, Shay. And happy birthday, Bruce.